A to the K.
To the K.
To the K.
Hey yo, it's the bad guys. You don't know who we are, but you know why we're here. We're the A to the K wrestling show, back again for another week. So yeah, somber times, unfortunately, with the passing of the great Scott Hall. But let's not make our show all somber. Let's do what we always do. Let's throw it over to Road Dogg for A to the K's little known fact of the week.
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh yeah. So Anthony, here's what to make you feel old. With WrestleMania 38 fast approaching, we're now.
Yeah, that does make me feel old. Thanks.
Well, yeah, I mean that's basically the fact. But obviously, so we are now as far away from the very first Money in the Bank as the first Money in the Bank was from the very first Royal Rumble, believe it or not. So Money in the Bank began 17 years ago at WrestleMania 21 in 2005, while the Royal Rumble was just 17 years before that in 1988, the year I was born. So basically, in summary, we're old as balls, Anthony.
I mean, I think that's the start of a new segment, Carl's terrifying statistics, because that's horrible. I hate it.
That doesn't feel like the first Money in the Bank does not feel like it was 17 years ago, right?
No. Like,
What it was.
It upsets me that there are actual, well, pretty much adults now who have never not had a Money in the Bank pay-per-view in their life.
Yeah, exactly. That's
the same way we've never not had a Royal Rumble in our lives.
Madness.
The Royal Rumble's always been there for us.
Exactly.
I hate your statistics, Carl. I hate it all.
And that's why you come to the A to the K Wrestling Show, to hear us lambast the fact we're old and hate on things. But yeah,
we hate all the new stuff, and you're gonna hear that shortly.
Oh yes. But yeah, let's throw back over to Road Dogg to sing us out of the segment.
Oh, you didn't know?
Okay, so let's kick things off with WWE. Taking it over to the very few highlights this week, and we'll kick off with the tag team triple threat match. I thoroughly enjoyed this, so I was quite harsh on this the week before. The whole shenanigans stuff going on, like it didn't really make sense. Like why weren't Street Profits in it and stuff if they had won and all that jazz. But you can't argue this match itself was fantastic. Obviously gearing up to Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins trying to get their way to WrestleMania, and then we do get the title change, but it's actually RK Bro winning it back. So I would like to hope this isn't the end for Alpha Academy. I think they've been absolutely fantastic over the last few months. But yeah, interesting. They've now put it back on RK Bro in terms of what that's going to actually mean for them at Mania. Do you think we're going to get Street Profits RK Bro? That's why they had them beat them the week before.
Maybe, yeah. But honestly, this is one of the few times I think, regardless of what match they end up with at Mania, all the components involved are very talented guys. I think we can both agree that we can be quite critical of sort of the lack of storytelling for Mania, but that is not a problem specifically for the tag division. That seems to be a problem for the whole card, which we can moan about at another time. But yeah, I mean, I would be more than happy with an RK Bro Street Profits. Yeah. I think all involved are actually really good. I don't know. Alpha Academy are kind of my team at the minute, you know.
I know. I mean, it'd be nice to do another kind of triple threat, wouldn't it? But with Street Profits taking the place of Kevin Owens and Seth.
But this is the thing. I mean, I'd be more than happy with that if we had I don't know. Is there too many triple threats? Am I overthinking it? I don't know.
I think there might be, to be fair. I feel like that because they're doing it with the women's tag titles, aren't they? Which we'll get onto in a minute.
They have women's tag titles? Where have they been?
Do you know what's so funny? In fact, no, we'll talk about it when we get to that bit. But Rhea Ripley said something quite funny this week about it, and I had to kind of bite my tongue, but I won't do when we get onto that match. But yeah, nice. Okay. Highlight for me, great match and new champs.
Indeed. Let's hot potato them belts, yeah. But yeah, highlight. No, it was a highlight. So I'm being negative already. Next highlight, Carl. Something that I think was fairly heavily predicted, but fuck it, it's exciting stuff, and it's somewhat polarizing. I'd love to get your thoughts. But next highlight for me is KO, Kevin Owens, finally sets up Austin at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
So we know it's a lock now. We've had we've had it sort of confirmed with Austin. We've had all of our shenanigans, so we know that they are having, I'm going to say, some sort of interaction at Mania. I'm still dubious whether it's going to be a match, but it's going to be awesome, isn't it? Let's be honest. An absolute legend. It can be handled the right way, and I can't be. Some people are like really critical, say, oh, he shouldn't be, bringing in the old timers and stuff like that. This isn't Goldberg. This is Stone Cold. Like, I can't moan about Stone Cold for the same reason I can't moan about every time Undertaker turned up at WrestleMania and nothing else. Like, because it's just awesome to see them. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped that they've sort of, stopped dancing around the subject and just fucking done it. How do you feel?
Me too. I think it's a shame because I think people started reporting that it was going to be a match, and I think deep down we probably thought that might not be the case because, let's face it, Austin hasn't had a match in however goddamn many years it has been.
I say loved. You could see, like you say, it was more about the fans, wasn't it? Going, well, look, Edge just made a comeback. Daniel Bryan's made a comeback. Everyone's, been able to come back from more serious stuff. He's looking really good. He's been cleared and all this. And it's like, yeah, but he's still like probably not in match condition. And
no,
like I have no doubt we are gonna get KO's getting stunned. Like,
oh yeah.
And I don't need much more than that, if I'm honest.
Exactly. It's going to be one of them kind of WrestleMania segments where it's a big return, a big pop, and the bad guy's going to get his comeuppance, isn't he? He's been trash talking Texas for weeks and weeks and weeks, so Austin's going to shut him up in Texas. All the live crowd will be made up, and obviously all us watching, we're going to see Austin. So.
And you know what? Kevin Owens will be made up. He's going to take a stunner from someone he fucking idolized as a kid. Like,
well, I mean, he's adopted the stunner as his own move with Austin's blessing, so obviously a huge fan. And people say like, "Oh, I can't believe Kevin Owens stuck with WWE," and it's like, well, to be fair, he's at WrestleMania with Steve Austin, so it's not been the worst thing to happen to him since he's re-signed.
Like, honestly, like that's the thing. Like, not many people can go, yeah, I used to watch wrestling growing up, and this year I'm gonna get Stone Cold stunned at WrestleMania.
Exactly. So
that's fucking
bucket
awesome.
list type stuff, isn't it? So yeah, I don't think it's going to be a match. I do think it'll just be the Kevin Owens show.
I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have put it in as a KO show, haven't they, on the books? Yeah. So unless something changes in that time, I'd be very surprised because it doesn't need to be any more than a KO show. They can do some spots. It doesn't have to be, and it's not going to be a full match, let's be honest.
No. Literally it'll just be Kevin Owens getting his ass kicked if it's done right. So, and
beers poured on him because it's WrestleMania, so we can get the beers out. You can usually have a beer on a premium live event.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely highlights. We're finally getting it after all the kind of speculation. So I love the promo as well from Owens. So yeah, good stuff all round. And the final highlight, only 3 this week, moving over to SmackDown for the only good thing on SmackDown, was the opening of the show. Brock Lesnar comes out. I think we both agree that the new version of Brock Lesnar is pretty awesome, to be fair. And he's come out and effectively he's fuming. Basically, what happened at the Madison Square Garden event, he said to you don't draw first blood on Brock Lesnar, so he wants to basically kill Roman. But Heyman comes out.
Watching Rambo Zone.
Well, yeah. I'd love to see that in the run up to Mania. Just lays traps everywhere to try and fucking take him down.
Nice.
But yeah, I think obviously Paul Heyman comes out, says Roman's not there, so then Brock basically says, "Well, who's going to protect you?" Then chases him out the building. So.
It's into a Benny Hill sketch.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised no one's put the music over that yet. Unless they have and I've not seen it. But if not, maybe we should do it. But yeah.
To TikTok.
So yeah, interesting opening. Shame we did get Roman, and then obviously Brock just kind of left afterwards as well. So unfortunately, without Roman and Brock, SmackDown, there's pretty much nothing else to be interested in, unfortunately, which is why this is the only highlight from SmackDown.
We've said it before. It's the only thing keeping SmackDown going. Without the Roman stuff on SmackDown, it'd have been as bad as Raw for quite a while.
Agreed.
Wasn't the best show. It just had the best wrestler. That's all it was.
Exactly.
That's all it fucking was.
So yeah, that was the final highlight. I'll let you talk about the first Oh Shite this week, Anthony.
Honestly,
why not?
We'll do the first Oh Shite, Carl. I feel like we kind of moaned about this last week, so I don't think we need to moan about it much more. So I'll keep it brief. But Dana, Tamina, Tozawa, fucking Reggie, everything that's going on with them lot. Again, just shit. This why is it even on our screens?
Yeah, I mean, why is it on our screens every fucking week? Like, I'm sick of chatting about it, but at the same time, I won't let them get away with it.
No, because it is definitely an Oh Shite, but it's a bathroom break moment, isn't it?
Yeah,
really. We need some sort of random filler bullshit, but it just hasn't worked for some time and still doesn't. So
no,
I'm not gonna add much more to it than that. But they need to be on the list.
Yeah, they just made the list. That's what we're saying.
Stupid idiots.
Speaking of stupid idiots, I kid. So we had a Miz segment where Logan Paul came out as well, and they invited out Jerry the King Lawler because apparently, yeah, why not? I guess
he's famous, kind of.
Yeah, like they brought him out, and then they started talking about a load of sports teams and stuff, and I'm like, well, isn't Jerry Lawler from Memphis?
I mean, that's as random as including like some sort of famous YouTuber on your show for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, I legit don't understand what the purpose of this segment was. They didn't beat Jerry down or anything like that. Like Logan didn't even get any heat by kicking him in the nuts or anything. They literally brought him out, spoke some shit about the town, and then they walked off. And it was like, all right then.
Yeah.
Baffling. Absolutely baffling.
Indeed. Hey, do you want to hear something like totally unrelated? But I'm gonna like advertise it for the few people who even care. You'll listen, right? So, Logan Paul. He's famous for various things. He did a song a little while back. I didn't know he did music, but he did a song a little while back. I think it was called Handlebars, but it referenced Handlebars. Yeah. And it turned out he completely ripped off a group called Flowbots. And Flowbots have very recently done a diss track, which is called Handle Your Bars. So if you are not a big fan of Logan Paul and you want to hear him get sort of rinsed on a track by Flowbots, then give it a listen because it's actually quite entertaining. But basically, they just took umbrage to him stealing their song.
Which they got every right to do. I also didn't realise he was somewhat musically inclined either.
I think that's a bit of a reach. I mean, that's like saying people who got famous through TikTok are musically inclined. They have a platform and can make songs. I don't know necessarily they are musicians, but they have studios they can make songs in. What really defines a musician? Talent? Is it talent? Might be talent.
Well, I mean, you can have bad musicians.
That's true. Yeah. Anyway, so slight digression, Carl, but have a listen because it's quite entertaining.
Indeed. So yeah, big from us.
Indeed. So speaking of big, no, that didn't work. I couldn't do the same thing. Anyway, there's more. I think again we moan about it every week, so I'll keep it brief. But there is a key point to this, right? And that's Omos again, right? I have nothing against Omos apart from the fact that he can't wrestle or talk or be entertaining. I have nothing against him, right? He was a great doorman, right? And then they decided he could wrestle, and I've yet to see him do any. But the reason I'm adding him to the list again this week, Carl, is that they appear to want him to be a face.
Mm-hmm.
When he so naturally fits into being a heel. Like, if you've got to be shit, right, and barely wrestle, and be unlikable anyway, why not fucking lean into that?
Yeah.
And this isn't even against Omos himself. He's just doing what he's told. Someone creatively has gone, face. It's like, why? Can you not read the room?
Yeah, I honestly don't understand what they're trying to achieve with it. Like, the fans aren't into it. He's just, like, as you said, he's just a big dude Basically, that's all he's got going for him.
Wow, he's tall.
That's legit,
Tower
right?
buildings.
And
Let's carry on.
I think that's where this is leaning into as well. Is the now, obviously he had this match with Apollo, and then obviously Commander Aziz, as he's now known, got in his face afterwards, and it was essentially just, aren't these two really tall?
And I mean, it's like it's just like a dream match, isn't it? Two just tall fellas who aren't that entertaining.
Exactly. It's what people
Wow.
want to see. And surprisingly, it still had more build up than the majority of the other matches, but we'll get into that.
I love how, I mean, there's even like kind of a story there. Omos has gone from opening the door for Aziz at Raw Underground, for those who are missing what I'm saying, to being like a bigger draw than him. So like there's a story there.
Exactly. Just writes itself.
Tell it.
Yeah. And yet, when they both went in the door, they both had to duck because they were really tall. And then, they've got things in common, man. That, just makes a good thing. So yeah, not good. But I'll let you take the next one as well, actually, because we were chatting about this before we started recording. I think you had a really interesting take on it. So, do you want to chat about Old Edge?
Old Edge. Yes. So, I'll go into what I was chatting about. Like basically the Oh Shites Edge's promo this week, but my Oh Shites mostly is the fact that the turning Edge heel, he's look. I'm just gonna say it. People are gonna come at me for this because Edge is a legend and people fucking love him, right? I get that, and I love him. He's awesome, right? Right now, he's a discount Seth Rollins, right? That's what they're making him into, right? And he just seems to be going heavily through this emo phase, right? And it's just, I think you made the point that he seems to have done that since he come back, and I never looked at it that way. I'm looking at it very recently. He's just all sulky and moody, and I feel like I might be jumping the gun because I don't think he had his music this week. It's this week that he's had his music, right? But he's now changed his music for those who haven't heard it yet, which again is more moody, and it still sits right. People are like, oh, I love it, right? And it still doesn't sit well with me that we had the typical that you get with every Edge entrance that you think you know me. And then even that had to be a bit fucking moodier, didn't it? So we get Edge's voice now going, you never did. It's like, oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
I think the acclaimed said it best. He's just gone through a goth phase, I think, at the minute.
He definitely is. And the whole thing, it doesn't work. I thought Edge was awesome. What did you need to change anything for, really?
Yeah.
We went from the Rumble to now, and he's just like full on, like you say, he's going through his emo goth phase, and it's like, what happened? Who hurt you? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't like. Why did we need this? Like, wasn't Edge versus AJ Styles as a just straight up match enough? Like, why do we now have to go through this weird thing where he's got like purple lights and shit on him, and he's all dark and moody and like he's
I don't want to be
crazy.
over dramatic, but we're not getting Edge versus AJ Styles, are we?
Well, no.
It's not my Edge.
Well, exactly. I think
to put it dramatically.
I think they've gone like, oh, what else has AJ done at WrestleMania? Oh, he did that thing with the Undertaker. Oh yeah, the Undertaker was quite dark. I mean, oh, I've got it. And it's like, right, okay.
What if we did something similar to Baron Corbin's theme? Baron Corbin's entrance when he was like the what was he called when he first?
The Lone Wolf.
When he was the Lone Wolf, but kind of Undertaker-y, but we still need to be Alter Bridge song because it's Edge. It's like, what's even happening right now?
Yeah, it's just so so unnecessary.
What I don't get is like, because don't get me wrong, again, some people are loving it. Some people are like, oh, it's great. I love the new theme. I love Edge. Everything's brilliant. But like, wouldn't he have genuinely got more of a pop if he'd have gone to Rob Zombie again or something like that?
Well, exactly.
Like, I think let's tweak the nostalgia if you're going to do something with Edge. What are we doing this for? You've already leaned on it by referencing the Brood constantly.
Like, I'm trying to put myself in like the new WWE writers kind of room, essentially, and them going, oh, but people really like his entrance music. If we want him to be heel, we need to change it. And like that's where it's all come from.
I feel like they've gone, listen, Edge, we want you to have a Def Rebel track, and he's gone, no, and they've gone, okay, but can you? Okay, we'll stick with Alter Bridge, but can it be more like a Def Rebel track? And that's where they've compromised.
Yeah, so he basically, went through all the old demos and like this is the first thing they ever put together. Essentially, just a load of noise.
But again, I'm not dissing Alter Bridge as a song. It's probably really good, but it's just not Edge.
It's not Edge, and none of this is Edge, and it's just so unnecessary. We had AJ versus Edge, straight up match, dream match for many people. That's something we've never been able to see before. Edge synonymous with WWE, and AJ obviously having travelled all around. It was a dream match, and we're getting it, but now it's like, okay, why have we got to go through all this to get it? But hey ho.
Now have Pledge.
So yeah, Edge full of angst, if you will. So the next Oh Shite this week, not so much so the match itself,
kind of not the match, yeah.
The match itself wasn't that bad. I think this shit with Carmella now, where her and Corey, obviously, like they haven't just got married, like they've been together for a while now. Like just because they're launching this new TV show thing on YouTube or whatever. Doesn't like why is it now that they have to fucking do all this stupid storyline stuff where it's basically, the point I made before is that Rhea Ripley got on social media saying, people think that the women's tag titles just an afterthought and they don't really care about them and stuff like that. We need to show them some respect. And it's like, well, okay, when the fucking company shows a bit of respect to them titles, then the fans will probably get on board with it too. Like, there's one legitimate... Well, in fact, no. There's no legitimate women's tag teams on that roster.
Yeah.
It's literally...
And this is the problem. And you know what? Some people... Hopefully not, because I've not seen any of it, so I'm kind of speculating. But with comments like about we need to put some respect on them, like, some people will probably try and suggest that it's because they're women's titles. But it's absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's because they're shit.
Yeah. It, like completely is. And it's like, what's so annoying about it? You've got Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Sasha Banks, Naomi. People who could have their own kind of match where there's a story around it and just actually put a women's match on WrestleMania that isn't for the titles. Because, imagine that. What a crazy idea that is.
I'm actually really annoyed what's happened to the women's tag titles. Do you remember? And it's hard to remember because it's been so long since they've actually been that relevant. But do you remember when they were first out and you had the likes of like Kairi Sane and Asuka holding them and it actually being hard to get them off them, and then you had Bayley and Sasha having a solid run, both being champions and both being the tag champions at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you saw the belts all the time, and there was respect on those belts. And then what happened?
Well, exactly.
Nothing.
Did the Iconics have it for a bit as well? I feel like they might have done. If they didn't, they should have.
I don't think they ever actually won them before leaving WWE.
Wow.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they challenged them. I don't think
if they didn't, then that would have been criminal. But yeah, now it's such.
Ask my pal Google.
But yeah, it's such a shame. It's such an afterthought for the likes of Liv and for Rhea and Sasha and Naomi, and they've literally just gone, well, we need to get them on the card somehow. We could throw them in the women's battle royal again, I suppose, or we can just throw them into the tag title mix, because that's become another get out of jail card for WWE now, to make it seem like they're elevating the women in some way when they're really not. If you look at that card, it's they only give a shit about Ronda, Charlotte, Becky and Bianca. That's all they've ever given a shit about, really. And it's such a shame that the rest of them kind of have to settle for this dross, unfortunately. But yeah,
this dross. So I'm going to stand corrected, Carl, just for those who are like curious, and for your good self, I'm sure you're curious. The Iconics actually won the tag belts, and they won them at, by the looks of it, WrestleMania 35 of all things. Boom. It was a fatal 4-way tag match, so it involved a few different components. But yeah, they won it out there.
There you go. So back when there was some respect on them titles, but
mad respect.
Yeah, so just a shame, and also I absolutely hate this stuff with Carmella and just not caring about the match because she's too busy flirting with Corey on the outside. It's like, what a shit gimmick that is now. Like,
I love it. I love how they're promoting, like, that's your day job. That you like. All right, I know kayfabe and it's all storytelling, but that's your day job, Carmella, and your boss is probably watching, which he usually is, and you're like too busy flirting or whatever to do your day job. That's what a weird thing for WWE to promote. If you're in love, work doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Boss that. Which is a nice message, but not one that will sustain you money wise.
True.
Yeah. Okay, Carl. I'm glad you've swapped around because this fucking one, right? I have been saying for ages now. You've heard me, Carl. I've said it so many times. Pete Dunne needs to have a run with the NXT title. That's what needs to happen. Put some respect on Pete Dunne. Have him win the main top title. Have him dominate NXT for a while. That's what we should have. That's what should happen. That's what I want, right? But we didn't get that. We got the next best thing. We had a name change, and he's now in some sort of team with Sheamus on SmackDown. What have we changed his name to? I'm glad you asked, Carl. We called him Butch because they dressed him like he's not. So they were like, well, we'll call him Butch and it'll balance out. He's basically, they've gone for like, I don't know, a slightly smaller Ridge Holland in terms of new attire and called him Butch. What the fuck's that? Pete Dunne was awesome as he was. Why have we done this?
It's so baffling to me, this fucking company. Like, Pete Dunne, people know who the fuck he is. He's been at WWE shows and everything, and it's like, oh no, it's just a nickname that we're giving him or whatever. And it's like, well, okay, even if you did that, there's already a fucking Butch. He's a bushwhacker. So great, he's got the same name as a fucking bushwhacker, right? I legit think Vince just, like, someone showed him Peaky Blinders, and he was like,
that is definitely what's happened with these three.
Ah, okay. Is that what the kids like these days? Great, we'll do that.
Yeah, it's like someone showed him it, but he's never watched it a day in his life. So it's like, hey, look, you guys are the Peaky Blinders now, whatever they are.
Yeah, exactly that. But you can just see that's exactly what has happened, and look, I agree, obviously, with you. Like, you're a massive fan of his. I also think he's pretty sound as well. But
the most Scouse way you could explain it.
He's fucking boss, him, lad.
He's pretty sound.
He's proper boss. But yeah, I reckon can he turn the chicken shit into chicken salad? I don't know. I hope so. Because this is the kind of gimmick you get where,
like, look, I don't know much about Ridge Holland, right? Because he got injured pretty quickly on NXT, had some time off, and is now on the main roster. I'm sure stuff happened in between, but there you go. So I can't say a lot on that, but let's be honest. Sheamus is a super talented guy, as is Pete Dunne. So, how can we not have So Butch, I'm rooting for you, man.
Me too. But yeah, what a just stupid thing to do. So rounding out WWE this week, Anthony, the final of shite. So they've done it again. They've gone, what was actually quite successful that we did in the past with Ronda and Charlotte? Oh, remember that time we had them in the back and we got them in a police car and they kicked the windows through and stuff? That was pretty good. It seemed to go down quite well. Why don't we do something else like that with a car and a scrap on a car? Because it worked so well last time.
I love it. They don't even need to bother doing WrestleMania Rewind anymore, do they?
It's fucking Groundhog Day in this company. It is insane. But, the definition of insanity is, doing the same fucking thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Why do we do it? It is just shite. But yeah, so now Charlotte got her revenge on Ronda on top of a car for some reason.
And this is the thing. Did she need revenge?
Oh, well.
This is how important this storyline is. Was Charlotte needing revenge on Ronda?
Well, Charlotte was like, you've only got the armbar, and Ronda was like, I've got an ankle lock, and Charlotte tapped out, so obviously, naturally, you'd go, oh yeah, well, I've got a car, bitch. Like, she...
Wow, that escalated awful quick.
She is, like, literally a week away of being like, I did it for Bayley. Like, it is, it's going to get to that. She's going to hit her with a car.
It's going to turn into, like, a fucking Western by WrestleMania, isn't it? Yeah, well, I have a gun.
I mean,
that's why, Charlotte, you don't want to hurt nobody.
That's why they've done the Peaky Blinders gimmick as well. It's like, well, who else can we get with guns? Ah, okay, great.
Love it.
Fun and games. So yeah, WWE this week, Anthony. Scores on the doors.
Carl.
Whoa.
I want to give my score first.
Okay.
Because I already know your score comes with a tail.
It does. Yeah.
So Just before that, because I think we should close out on your speech, if you will. So I'm just gonna come in there and I'm just gonna say that I'll give my score, and it's me agreeing with you. So I'm kind of spoiling your score, but I'm gonna be with you here on a 0.5. But I can't put it any better than you, so I want you to give your reasoning as for your 0.5, because I'm just here to agree with you, man.
Okay. So yeah, 0.5 all around. And the reason, right, the problem I have with WWE at the minute, let me just get on the soapbox, right? It's fucking WrestleMania season. It is the time of year that you and I and many fans fucking love, and we can't wait for WrestleMania. Problem is, Anthony, the fucking majority of matches, aren't even as a result of a feud or anything which has been slowly built or developed over time. It's literally a bunch of people saying, "Oh, looks like I need to find someone to face at WrestleMania." It's fucking ridiculous, right? Edge, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, to name but a few. It's literally become, not like, oh, I'm in this big feud and we're going to see it culminate and we're going to settle our scores and our differences at WrestleMania. It's literally as pathetic as, well, I wish I was on the WrestleMania card. Let me find some random idiot to fight. What a load of shit.
Are you there? What day is this? Honestly, they could have basically, storyline-wise, they could have just drawn names from a hat for how well developed some of this is.
I mean, have you seen, obviously, South Park, where they go on about how they choose Family Guy episodes? It's what it feels like, to be fair. It's just, like, what a shame. Like, what happened to long-term storytelling?
Look, we'll talk about it soon, Carl. Eric Bischoff knows what's happened to storytelling. He knows, Carl. He knows.
Yeah, fucking prick. So we'll talk about that. I feel like I'm going to be quite salty this week because I've got to talk about Shawn Michaels. I hate that prick. Eric Bischoff hasn't endeared himself to me, and I hate the product at the minute.
Drink, Carl, because there's some salt in it.
It's 316 day, so maybe I need to something strong. But yeah, so 0.5 WWE this week. Bad
WWE. Bad.
Go to your room and think about what you've done.
Side.
So let's flip the script, Anthony, because we're going to go over to AEW, right? And I fucking loved AEW this week. I am not going to lie, right? Of
course you did.
So, yeah, well, fuck it. I'm a mark. Why not, right?
I must feel ashamed calling you a mark. I only ever say it jokingly, but after Regal's scathing comments as to why he hates the term mark, I must feel bad for using it.
Well, there you go.
Made me feel bad about it.
You keep saying it, and Regal's disappointed in you, so hope you're happy with yourself.
That's like a meme waiting to happen. We need a disappointed Regal meme. Can you put that on the screen, Carl?
like we've literally got the perfect image where he's looking at Moxley and Danielson from Revolution. It was just like
Regal judges.
But no, we're going to kick off with obviously Dynamite started with Chris Jericho coming out and saying, he should have shook Eddie Kingston's hand, blah blah blah, and then oh wait, it's all a ruse because we think obviously 2.0 comes down. Danny Garcia as well, and we think, Kingston and Jericho are going to team up now, but no, Jericho attacks Kingston. He is done with the Inner Circle, and he's formed the Jericho Appreciation Society, right? Now, this is like Marmite, so I'm keen to get your thoughts on it. Some people fucking hate it. I love it because the Inner Circle, it ran its course a while ago, and it's been going on a little bit too long. But when he formed the Inner Circle, it was great because it endeared us to the likes of Santana and Ortiz and Sammy Guevara and people who, if they were just, going through the motions in AEW, not part of something like this, the Inner Circle, then would they have got, as over as they did, right? So Sammy Guevara is now a multi-time TNT champion. Everyone knows Proud and Powerful. So what do? Is you pick the next young crop of talent who Jericho sees something in and wants to bring in and has a bit of a refresh. And I think what better people to bring in and to have it make sense. 2.0 have got something. They've got the chops on the microphone.
If Jericho wants to make a career out of grooming the youngins, that's fine, right?
Whoa.
That's what you said, right?
I mean, not in so many words.
No, if Jericho, I get what he's doing. He's trying to like help the up and comers, right? But it's almost like are you expecting the exact same result again? Because I feel like it's almost like he's trying to copy exactly what succeeded the first time, and that isn't necessarily a recipe for success. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not even being negative about it too much just yet. But I worry that he's just gone, well, let's make another faction and get all those guys over. And don't be wrong, if anyone can, it's Jericho. But it's literally just replaced the people who are now famous.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But at the same time, I think the people he's brought in do make sense, and I think are people that could be elevated. Like 2.0 have definitely got, the personality and stuff like that. So being associated with Jericho is good. And then obviously Garcia has got all the technical chops of someone, like a Sammy Guevara, who's a little bit rough around the edges, but he could be turned into a future star. So I'm excited for it. I think,
And of course, they've got skinny Jericho, so it'd be interesting to see the difference.
Exactly. But I'm interested as well. Obviously, he's going with the whole, he does sports entertainment, not wrestling. Seems to be the way it's going because he keeps going. That's his new catchphrase now, isn't it? It's like that's entertainment. So it's like I love it though because smarmy ass heel Jericho is one of the best Jerichos. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. To be fair, I'm done with him coming out as a good guy and everyone singing Judas and being like, yeah, like I want to see the Jericho who's just a bit of a cunt because why not? I like that Jericho. And 2.0, you've got faces you want to punch. Jake Hager's got a face you want to punch, and Danny Garcia has too. So they're going to be a top heel faction, I think, assuming they actually last. But yeah, so it gets a highlight for me because I was like, let's see where it goes. I'm intrigued.
I mean, okay, let's give away a highlight. Why not? I'll wait and see.
Okay.
But my next highlight, Carl, and I feel it massively deserves it, even more so because of the way people are at the minute, and that's Hangman versus Dante Martin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say even more so because people are really not liking Hangman at the minute, and I don't get it. No. He's done nothing to deserve the level of hate he's getting. Everyone's like, oh, they need to drop the title. He needs to not be him. He's boring. It's like boring. He's not even had a chance to do anything yet.
No.
God damn. So,
yeah, it's people are very fickle. I think they seem to forget that he was part of the longest ongoing story since AEW's inception. Really, we followed that the ups and downs of his career, and I get it. He's not exactly had a star-studded cast of opponents thus yet, but at the same time, he has faced the likes of Danielson and Adam Cole and people like that. So it's what do people want? Do they just want to throw the title onto someone like Punk or something? It's like,
but see, that's the trouble. Like, as much as people moan about like, oh, they're just signing ex-WWE guys and the sideline and homegrown talent and stuff like that. That's exactly what they want.
Yeah,
and it's like, give Hangman a chance. I feel like we need to start the campaign. Give Hangman a chance, because I feel like he's only just got the title. I know that's probably an exaggeration because he's had it a little bit, but like. I'm not got an issue with him holding the belt just yet. I'm waiting for like that feud that really elevates this whole thing, and everyone else is like, "Get rid of the belts. He's fucking useless, boring." I'm like, "Calm down, calm down.
Don't hang Hangman, guys. Don't hang Hangman."
So yeah, it had to be a highlight because it was a good match.
It was a solid match. Obviously, Dante Martin's fantastic as well. So I don't think we ever thought the outcome would be any different, but. Why not have a really fun match like this?
Exactly.
So, yeah. Highlight from us. Speaking of highlights, we got to see Danielson and Moxley teaming up again to take on JD Drake and Anthony Henry. And this just goes to show the type of violence and brutality that these two can put together as a tag team, obviously under the tutelage of William Regal. So I wanted to give the match itself a highlight because obviously it was a short match, but it did what it needed to do. Obviously proved the dominance of two of the top guys in AEW that are now joining forces. But I think the main bulk of the highlight, Anthony, is it's William Regal's promo, isn't it?
Yeah, it fucking was. William Regal's promo, Carl. How did you feel about it? It was emotional.
It was emotional.
Was just, he's even because he's a class act, he even apologised after the fact for causing delays. It's like,
exactly.
Fucking hell, no
I'm
one
not
even
being funny.
noticed, man. That's just...
I'm not being funny. You let that man fuck talk as long as he wants to talk, man.
You give him a mic and you work around the man.
Yeah, no,
Right?
it was emotional. Like I didn't
At that moment with Shivani, man.
I didn't even realize, you know, that you know what I mean, and you could he's such a lovely fucking bloke. You know, he's such a top fella. I'm made up that he's there. He's on camera. He's getting the opportunity to, you know, do stuff in front of the camera, but obviously also help backstage and things as well. He's such a fucking fantastic man for the business. But yeah,
You know
it
what I want,
definitely
though?
got me a lump
You know what I'm
in my
waiting
throat.
for? I'm waiting for him to remind people just how good a heel he is.
Oh yeah.
And it's coming, Carl. Right? I've been thinking about this more and more. Do you remember heel Regal in WWE?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know, like, because I'm just thinking back to my childhood. I know he was probably bigger in WCW, but heel Regal in WWE, man, what a legend he was.
Oh, he's such a. I mean, he's another example of whether he's a heel or a face. He's phenomenal at what he does. Like when he's a heel, like obviously the brass knucks and you know like how he'd do anything, and also how violent he could be as well. He
I
was
think that's what it is,
fantastic.
but it wasn't just because he can talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can definitely talk, and he definitely conveyed himself as that pompous, arrogant Brit, like
Yeah,
whenever he wanted to, right? But the fact that he can display how much of a heel he is in the ring so effectively, and don't be wrong, I know plenty of wrestlers can do heel moves when they're in the ring, but this guy, it was all about the fact that everything he did was calculated and just fucking
oh yeah.
savage. And
It's like
he's such a legend.
even the smallest things, just like you know an eye poke or like yeah, you know putting his foot across your face kind of thing, like you know stuff like that is proper old school stuff. But
Yeah, and don't be wrong, I'm not expecting to see a match anytime soon, but just him with the mic running these two, and it's got to be a heel team. It's got to be a heel team. Come on.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do with it because I think the fans are going to refuse to boo them. So, but I mean, at the same time,
you have to let them have a little bit of time because of that. I think it's similar to like, well, I was going to say similar to Punk, but he didn't really go heel. He just kind of had a moment. But like, but similar to Danielson, actually, he can turn heel like that. So
yeah,
let
I
them
think
have that
obviously
face
with
moment as Regal's with them. But them as a group being full on heel, yes, there for that.
yeah, I think with Moxley coming back though, he's going to find it harder than ever to be seen as a heel again now because everyone's just obviously so behind him and you know supporting him and stuff. But we'll see
Honestly,
whichever way they go because
I
obviously
don't want this, but if you're gonna drop Hangman's title in any time soon, have one of these two take it. That'll turn them heel.
will it? Because I mean he's getting backlash as it is, Hangman, isn't he? So who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, but they'll have to like set fire to him as well. Go full WWE with it.
Now you're talking. You know, not going to get
Channel
fined
the
or
inner Randy
suspended
Orton.
for it, no. But yeah, no,
You got to sternly wear the letter, okay?
I think fantastic promo from Mr. Regal. It was so good to see him and just hear him speak. He's so fucking boss, and even when he's just like a couple of broken hearts as well, you know, stuff like that. And he's like insulting Tony about his suits and things. He's just I love him. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
So next one, Anthony. It happened. Jeff Hardy.
For the first time in my life, I feel a bit sorry for Jeff as well.
Why? Because he's getting all the shit, all these memes now.
Got fucking rinsed for weeks about his dancing. Even his own brother rinsed him over it.
So, like that was so. Obviously, you know, the AHFO. You know, we're all having a bit of a vote to see whether Matt Hardy should stay in. Private Party turned on Matt. They're getting a beat down. Sting and Darby come out to make the save, but even they get overpowered. And then Jeff Hardy comes down. Old Hardy Boys music. But obviously on his way down to the ring, he has to stop to have a little bit of a dance with the fans while his brother's getting his head kicked in. So, gotta love it.
Have you seen that clip from Matt?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I'm coming to Matt. It just gets me, man. Poor Jeff.
Yeah, but no, like it's so good to see them back together, reunited. I think we both agree. You know, best Hardys is when they're together. You know. They've done some really cool stuff on their own, don't get me wrong. Obviously, Matt Hardy version 1 and Broken Matt, and obviously Jeff has done some pretty cool stuff as well.
Here's the thing I will say while we're on the topic, right? Jeff has done some good things on his own, but might be a bit of a hot take. This might not be something everyone agrees with. Jeff did his best work when he went in WWE because WWE were too big on Jeff for Jeff to ever actually be creative. I have always said Matt is the more creative one, but if you look at Jeff in his TNA days, okay, not when he was totally off his face, but in his TNA days when he was doing like the Willow stuff and stuff like that, when he was actually allowed to be creative with himself, it was much better than like WWE Jeff top guy stuff. I was never a big fan of.
Yeah.
You know, the best work
you...
he got again when the first time they were like, "You've got an alcohol problem, Jeff," or a drug problem, or whatever it was. Like the first time they did that storyline kind of worked, but then the 700 times after they did it didn't so much.
No, I think you're right. It's going to be interesting to see what they do because they are very firmly just the Hardys at the minute, which I quite like because for me, that's the best. But at the same time, are they going to go into that broken universe at some point? I think it might happen, but as long as they don't go too crazy with it, like I know obviously they've done some pretty cool stuff that people loved in Impact, but yeah, we'll have to see because sometimes it's better to not go back to old territory. But yeah, I'm made up. He's in AEW. The fans are buzzing. Everybody loves Jeff Hardy, really. So yeah, interesting to see what they do. Well, not everybody, but most people. Not naming any names.
I have nothing against Jeff. I just
is it just people with face paint? You don't like Darby. You don't like Jeff.
Look, I wouldn't like AEW if that were the case.
This is true.
That's fine. No, I've never been a fan of how big. WWE just had a proper hard on for him, and it made it hard to.
Hardy.
Hardy. Oh, sorry. Right. Okay, I must have misread that. No, they were so like Jeff's like gonna be he's just amazing. We're gonna put him in the Hall of Fame. And it's like just calm down. It's just Jeff. Like Matt was always the more talented one for me, right? And they were much bigger on Jeff. They were like because Jeff would like go, "You want me to jump off that? Yeah, no problem." Like they just loved him way too much, and I'm like, "Don't be wrong."
The Shane McMahon approach.
He's an awesome guy, right? He's a very talented guy, and I'm not dissing Jeff. I could never get behind Jeff in WWE in his solo sense because it got way more attention than it deserved, if you ask me. And then made me, as a consequence, I was then like, well, I'm not a fan because I'm fickle.
I also love that idea as a gimmick for him down the road. Just Jeff.
Just Jeff. That's his fragrance coming out.
Smell extreme. With just
smells of sweat and face paint. What the
hell? So yeah, next one.
Let's be honest. No, I'm not done with this.
Okay, I'll go back.
Look at like Matt's solo run was so underrated, and I think that's what kind of pissed me off. They don't have any issue with each other, but look at Matt in WWE when he's the version 1 stuff and all that, or his feud with Edge, which was awesome. Like. It got way less attention, and I'm like, why?
Why?
Carl? Why? Because his name's not Jeff, that's why.
Oh, I didn't know it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done now.
Okay.
Oh, it's me.
It's you.
This wasn't my point. Okay. So the next one, Carl. Hey, that was a highlight, that last one. Wow. The next one, Carl.
It's a hell of a ride.
Something that you're super excited about. Wardlow. He's done with guy. MJF. He's going out on his own. He's gonna make it. After all,
sounds like a fucking sitcom.
I was trying to channel that. I couldn't remember the theme. I think that worked. Anyway, what do you make of this, Carl? You've been waiting for this. You've been clambering for this. Wardlow, solo Wardlow, doing it big. I don't know.
I think it's fucking awesome. Do you know what? I was so surprised how good he was on the mic. Obviously, he's got, the size, the look, all that good stuff. He's capable in the ring, but I was surprised how good his promo was, to be fair. He's obviously been portrayed as the kind of really, strong, silent type that doesn't say anything, but this was almost an impassioned promo, so it kind of caught me off guard a bit, to be fair, but he's definitely top tier.
Something about his aesthetic makes you think he's not a talker, doesn't it, really?
Well, yeah. Maybe we've just been... what's the word? Maybe we've been conditioned to that in WWE. But no, I think he's got all the makings of being a world champ. We've been saying this for ages, and I made up the fact that he is now away from MJF, but we know it's not done. So I don't know what this is actually going to mean for the two. Obviously, it's going to be amazing when it actually happens and he just beats the shit out of MJF. It's what everyone's been waiting for so long.
He needs to feed MJF a loss. That has to happen.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But yeah, he's obviously going off the TNT title tonight, I think. So let's see what is going to happen for him. But yeah, I'm made up.
Wardlow versus Sammy Guevara. That's going to be great, isn't it?
Yep, that's that. Yep, what? Yep.
He's the TNT title holder, right?
Of course he is.
Of course. Can't believe. Right, do you know what? We'll talk about that in a sec. Actually, go on. I'll let you do your one. We'll get to the last point very quickly because I need to moan.
Okay, so next one I want to talk about tag titles on the line. Jurassic Express against the Acclaimed. Just solid match. Acclaimed fast become one of my favorite tag teams in all of pro wrestling at the minute.
You just love Max Caster.
I love Bowens as well. He's such a good fucking hype man, isn't he? He's just like, no matter where it is, doesn't even matter. He's just the Acclaimed. It doesn't matter the name of the town.
You know, it's all fun and games when you walk into the ring, right? But I reckon, like, if they were getting off the train or something and he was still like that level of hype, you'd be kind of like, just calm down. Calm down, Bowens. Yeah.
A little bit. But no, I think these are fantastic. It was funny as well, him obviously, his little thing against Jungle Boy. It was like, you've never seen a pair of boobs, all that hair on your head, and you can't grow any pubes, which I thought was quite funny. But then obviously Anna Jay was on Twitter, so she just put, false. So, love that.
That is probably, like, that is the strongest sort of clapback. How do you put it?
Exactly.
That's fair. That made every point. That just totally ruined his whole argument.
Certainly has. And again, just for consistency, well done, JB. Well done.
Yeah.
But match itself, really good. Strong match, and
you're not a Jungle Boy anymore. Jungle Man.
Jungle Man, Jack Perry. So, yeah. That's it.
Well, my next one is going to be incredibly predictable, isn't it? Thunder Rosa versus Layla Hirsch. Banger of a match. I'll be honest, I'm still a little sore that she's not won the belt yet. It's going to happen, but I'm still a little sore about that, I'll be honest. But, again, consistently amazing, and therefore a highlight again.
Is it going to happen tonight? Is it tonight that the match is? Cage match? I
think it's tonight.
If it is tonight, also, I'm going to put this out there, because I'm pretty sure it is tonight, and it's the same show where the TNT title is going to be on the line for Wardlow. This needs to main event for me. It's not just because it's in San Antonio and that's where Thunder Rosa is from, but because this has got the longest story behind it, and it absolutely should go on last. So I hope it does.
And it needs to be a moment, and you need to be able to soak it in when it fucking happens.
Absolutely.
And it needs to fucking happen.
I really hope it does. But yeah, hopefully you'll have a big smile on your face tomorrow morning.
Goddamn right.
Yep.
They're not going to ruin it. AEW wouldn't do that to me.
Again.
Yeah, so Thunder Rosa, Layla Hirsch, banger of a match, and just keeps me hyped, man. Just keeps me hyped. Permanent levels of hype over here.
Indeed.
Okay, it might be the sugar. I don't
know. So the last one then to talk about, Anthony, TNT titles on the line. As you said, Sammy Guevara, Mr. Champ, and not anymore. And you're shaking your head. How do you feel about this?
Okay.
He feels okay.
I've not got an issue with Scorpio Sky winning the belt. I've not got an issue with Sammy losing the belt so quickly after gaining the belt back. Although I probably could have, because they almost hot potato in it at this point, but whatever. Right, the issue I've got is they've either done one or two things. They've made Scorpio a very quick transitional champ, because he's going to get battered by Wardlow.
Mm-hmm.
Or they've made you go, well, Wardlow's not going to win. Right? I don't know. You still can't predict it, because I don't know which two they're going to do. But in either case, it's not good, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it adds an extra layer to it. It's a tough one, because if Sammy would have won and then he goes up against Wardlow, Wardlow doesn't get the face reaction that he probably needs right now. I mean, or would he? Because Sammy's not necessarily loved by all, is he? But
I genuinely think you're gonna have more people pissed off that Scorpio's lost it so quickly than you would have had people getting pissed off that Sammy lost it.
Maybe.
Because there's been so many people rooting for Scorpio for so long, and honestly, the reaction to him winning the belt on social media when I was looking through people go, "Oh yeah, it's amazing that he's finally got to win that title," and it's like, this isn't good. So like, I kind of want him to keep it because he does deserve it, and so many people are behind him on that. But I was ready for Wardlow to beat Guevara.
Mm.
And they kind of fucked it now because I don't know. I don't think either outcome's going to be great. So
No.
I know this is a highlight and the match itself was really good, but it's the consequence of the match that is bugging me. That it doesn't sit well with me because now this week we're going to have a match between Wardlow and Scorpio. I don't think there's going to be a decent result. That's all.
I mean, this could be the seed being planted for MJF going after Wardlow, essentially. Maybe Wardlow's got it won. MJF does something with the American Top Team to basically screw Wardlow out of it as revenge, and then that therefore starts the feud. So maybe, Scorpio will keep it, Wardlow doesn't end up winning the title, but then that's where we start to go to MJF versus Wardlow. That might be the most likely outcome.
You better hope that's what happens.
Or else. So on to the only Oh Shites this week, Anthony. Is it you going to take this one? Do you want me to take this one?
It's up to you. I kind of ran over your TNT title stuff, so I've done a bit of ranting. So if you want to take this one, I'm fine with it.
Okay, I'll take this one. But weigh in with your thoughts. So basically, I wasn't impressed with Keith Lee
Bullshit.
and QT Marshall. Oh, okay, tell me why. But no, So I don't understand, and they've done this before. AEW I don't understand why when someone new comes in, like certain factions just basically go after them. So like the Nightmare Factory hate Keith Lee now, but then so do Team Taz now apparently, and it's like, well, why are they both out to get Keith Lee? Like what's he done? Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that being said, it seems like
he's got limits.
that being said, it seems like we're gonna go down the route of getting Powerhouse Hobbs versus Keith Lee, which, let's be honest, I love a good mirror match, so I'll be down for that. But it just kind of, it's not the best intro for Keith Lee. It's like, you're up against QT Marshall and the Nightmare Factory. It's like, when's that ever gone well for anybody?
We're getting to a point now where it's almost pointless having a match with QT Marshall. I'm not dissing QT Marshall, but anytime it's somebody versus QT Marshall, I'm like, right, so X person is going to win. QT Marshall never wins these matches. What's the point?
Well, exactly. So yeah, I mean, he is a glorified jobber, let's be honest. But yeah, just a bit underwhelming for Keith, unfortunately, for his first feud. So I worry that the anti-AEW brigade are going to be like, oh, see, look, he's gone to AEW and look what he's doing now. He's getting beat up by Team Taz. And it's like,
kind of support them on this one.
Yeah. But yeah, so interesting. But yeah, so that was the only Oh Shite this week. Do you want to jump in with your rating again first? Because I've got another rant to go on.
I'll let you. Yeah, I mean, you can have your rants, but you might have take some umbrage to me. I'm actually going to give it a 3. It was a solid week, but I just don't think it quite made a 4 for me. Okay. So can't agree. Sorry, I've spoiled your score again. I didn't mean to.
Well, no, you haven't.
Sorry.
You haven't, because you give it a 3. I'm giving it a 4, Anthony. I'm disgusted that you've gone a complete 1 mark below mine. But look, I think this is one of the best episodes of Dynamite that we've ever had, because it had everything. It had story progression between the feuds. It had new factions being formed. It had people cutting their very first promos. It had debuts, face turns, titles on the line, title change. Like, it had everything, right? For me, Dynamite was excellent. For me, it's a shame that Rampage was just so very meh this week, because I actually could have given it higher than a 4. I think Dynamite was almost perfect of a show. I was thoroughly entertained all the way throughout. There was nothing that I wanted to really skip through.
You like a quote that you read in the paper now? I was enthralled.
Yeah. But you must know yourself. Like, we've got to watch this stuff every week to talk about it and things like that. But there's certain stuff where you're just like, I'm going to skip through this a little bit because I can't be asked, right? And I've done that before with little bits of Dynamite. I do it often with Raw, for example, and SmackDown sometimes. But Yeah, like this, I just watched the whole thing because I was just like, I didn't want to skip anything because I was scared to miss stuff. And yeah, that for me is the making of a great show. So 4 out of 5 for me.
Okay, I mean, if you want to overhype it like that, you can. That's fine.
Shut your face. So that was this week in wrestling. WWE need to step the game up. WrestleMania's around the corner, and they're not doing much of interest at all. So, what you playing at WWE? Get us hyped, will you? Meanwhile, AEW, loving what they're doing. Interesting. Obviously, huge card tonight for what are they calling it? St. Patrick's Day Slam or something? I don't know what the fuck it's called. Some kind of themed thing in it. But so many cool things happening tonight. Hopefully, we get a Thunder Rosa title win. Please. And I think the Hardys are in action for the first time tonight as well, so that'll be exciting.
If you want to see Jeff dance to the ring.
And yeah, let's see what happens now with Wardlow after Scorpio's just won. Like, as you said, is he going to be a transitional champ, or is Wardlow going to get screwed out of the title by MJF and start that up? But all in all, yeah, loved AEW this week. WWE not so much. So let's see what they do. But until next time, if you love wrestling,
we meet again,
and you are around about the northwest area of England, or you will be around about April time, why don't you check out For the Love of Wrestling, which is Europe's biggest wrestling convention. We're going to play this thing for you now that takes about a minute and a bit to say about the event, and we will see you on the flip side.
For Love of Wrestling, Europe's largest wrestling convention, returns to the Exhibition Centre in Liverpool on the 23rd and 24th of April. Guests this year include Diva of the Decade, Trish Stratus, the Wrestling God, JBL, the Dudley Boys, Torrie Wilson, and just announced MJF from AEW. We will also be doing a Wyatt family reunion as we welcome Eric Rowan, the man formerly known as Braun Strowman, and indeed the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Also just announced is the man, the legend, the icon, Sting, and of course your Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. This and many, many, many more guests, as well as prop builds, Q&As with all of the wrestlers, and some of the biggest wrestling collections in the world on display from our exhibitors. Get your tickets at forloveofwrestling.co.uk or search Facebook or Twitter for the Love of Wrestling. For the Love of Wrestling, Europe's biggest wrestling convention, returns to Liverpool the 23rd and the 24th of April.
Hey guys, it's Georgia Smith here, and you've heard me on A to the K. These guys are awesome. Check it out. A to the K.
A to the K.